Sovs.
Oi oi, you beautiful metal magpies. Welcome to Brits and Sovs, the channel where we talk about graded Britannias, sovereigns and other British coins. Grab yourself a brew, plonk down in your favourite chair and let's have a chin wag about one of the most elusive Aussie stunners to ever flash its golden grin, the 1931 Perth Mint sovereign. Now this ain't just any bit of bullion, this one's rarer than a humbled statement from Jeremy Clarkson. Before we continue, here's your weekly cheesy dad joke. Why don't sovereigns ever gossip? Because they're too well pressed for that kind of drama. Now we've had a little giggle, let's crack on. 1931 was the final year the Perth Mint ever minted a sovereign in the George V series. After that, they hung up their dies and said, "That'll do, cobber." And even then, most of them never even made it into circulation. They were melted down faster than a snowman in the Sahara. See, back then, the world was in economic meltdown, banks were shutting, savings were vanishing, and people were queuing up just to be told they had nothing left. So governments did what they do best, panicked, and started hoarding gold like a squirrel on speed. And this ain't no regular sovereign either. The Perth Mint version has that teeny little P mint mark just above the date. Blink and you'll miss it. But collectors, oh, they don't blink. They squint, magnify and measure that dot like it's the crown jewels. Front side, none other than King George V, looking all serious like he's just been told he's out of tea bags. Designed by Bertram McKennell, our Georgie boy's got that classic short beard and regal glare that screams, "Yes, I run an empire, and no, I don't do my own laundry." He wasn't just a king, he was steering the British Empire through some of its choppiest waters, colonial tensions, Irish independence, the aftermath of World War I, and now a global financial nosedive. Poor bloke probably didn't even get time to polish his own portrait. Flip it over, and you've got good old St George still doing what he does best, giving that dragon a right pasting, designed by Benedetto Pistrucci. This design's so iconic it might as well have its own page in the passport. Even in 31, those details were sharper than Manan's tongue. Sword raise, cape flapping, horse mid-sprint, proper heroic stuff. Makes modern coins look like they were drawn by a blind hedgehog. Right, get this. They struck just over 1.17 million sovereigns that year. Now you might think, that don't sound rare. Sounds like they handed them out with your Weetabix. But here's the kicker. Most of them never saw daylight. Stockpile, melted down, switched back into bullion, the lot. So even though the mintage was over 1 million, the number that survived in good nick, barely a whisper. In fact, there's less than 100 top grade examples known today. That's rarer than a tube train with working aircon. And when we say top grade, brace yourself, this one's a real dazzler. We're talking MS 64 plus. That ain't just rare, that's top shelf with a bow tie. The plus means it's got that little extra eye appeal, like it's been blessed by the grading gods themselves, and the star, that's the cherry on top. It's the sort of coin that makes other sovereigns feel underdressed. You put this 1931 Perth in MS 64 plus next to your average Sov, and it's like parking a Bentley next to a wheelbarrow. See, in the 1930s, Australia was still Tetford to the pound like a sheep on a lead. The Perth Mint wasn't just making coins for locals, it was cranking out gold to help prop up Britain's reserves. But when the gold standard went belly up in September 1931, the demand for sovereigns plummeted. And just like that, the coin got cut off mid-run. No farewell party, no goodbye letter, just curtains. Now here's where it gets juicy. A clean example, I'm talking extremely fine to uncirculated, will set you back a couple of grand easy. But the real stunners, the super rare proof strikes. Mate, those will cost you more than a brand new motor. One went for over 50 grand at auction, and they reckon there's only 2 of them known. That's coin royalty, that is. So yeah, not just rare. We're talking tell the grandkids you held one kind of rare. Let's paint the picture. 1931 was the Great Depression, turning bank accounts into bad jokes. That was the year the UK abandoned the gold standard. Imagine Britain flat out saying, "Nah, gold's not backing our money anymore." Bonkers, innit? That moment sent shockwaves round the world. Sterling took a wobble, colonies got nervous, and blokes with moustaches in smoky offices suddenly didn't know whether they were rich or ruined. Meanwhile in Oz, the Perth Mint kept flipping sovereigns, like nothing happened, little knowing this would be their sovereign swan song. It's like the last pint before the pub shuts, only this one's gold and cost thousands. Collectors chase this coin not just 'cause it's rare, but 'cause it's a historic full stop. Final issue by Perth. Last gasp before Britain shifted off gold. A snapshot of empire economics melting down faster than a chalk ice in Blackpool. So if you get your mitts on a 1931 Perth sovereign, especially a clean one with that magic P mint mark, don't just stash it in a sock drawer, frame it, name it, maybe even give it its own seat at tea time, because that little coin ain't just metal, it's a survivor. A time capsule, a golden rebel from down under. The missus walked in, clocked the gold all over the table and goes, "What's all this, Dave? You starting your own royal mint?" I said, "Nah, love, just hedging against economic collapse." She said, "Well, hedge your bets. I don't collapse your skull if you don't fix that bleeding toilet." Honestly, she's like the Bank of England. Loud, unpredictable, and always threatening interest. Anyway, she's shouting from the kitchen again. Apparently I said I'd repaint the door in 2022. She's wielding a paintbrush, like Shakespeare with a dagger. So I'm off before I get roped into another family barbecue where Uncle Kev burns the sausages, Nan asks if gold is gluten-free, and my cousin tries to trade me 3 pot noodles and a vape pen for a PF70. So don't forget, like this video like it's the last sovereign on eBay, comment like you're defending your coin hoard from the taxman, and subscribe like your future retirement depends on it. Because it just might. And remember, gold's not overrated. It's just misunderstood. Bit like me after 2 lagers and a monologue about Edward VII's beard. Until next time, my metal magpies, stack high, stay golden.